Look at Shevuot Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, around 5 lines down. Today's daf sponsored by Mr. Raymond Dane in honor of his grandson Eli. Last thing we did was we knocked out the last opinion regarding the explanation of the pasuk, and therefore if they apply a new halacha, a new proof that tum'ah, when it says by the variable korban or lev yored, is applying to also if someone goes into Beit HaMikdash while tameh or something like that. Rava praised Rabbi. He said the following: Brother Hakim, he draws water from deep wells. He's praising his acumen. The Tanner says, Rabbi says, Ekra ani hayat. Pasuk only should have mentioned the word haya, right? When it mentions animals in the Pesukim of Kashrut, it could have only said haya. Then how come behema laman How come it also say behema? Haya means wild animals and domesticated animals. Behema only means domesticated animals. So why is it? It says it in another place as well. Ma'alan tumat kodesh, afkan tumat kodesh, like over there. By the case of Shlamim mentions it as tum'ah, it's asur. So too here when it says behema also teaches asur. Well, ashkechan tumat kodesh. I have a proof. Fine, I have a proof for korban or levi ored for tameh food. Tumat mikdash minan. I don't know that it's also tuma of kedusha as well. Like the other case in our Mishnah, the Gemara says, "Amarkal kilachol kodesh lo tigav v'chol be'ela mikdash lo tavo." Itkesh mikdash lo kodesh. We have a gzera between hekdesh and kodesh. Teach you also need. Gemara says, "Yachi truma nami." So that's the case. Also truma should be included. Amar v'chol kodesh lo tigav. That the truma. Truma should be included that as well. How come we don't have kabbalah David for truma? Gemara says, "Ha me'ayt rachana bah." We said, nah, ba, we'll exclude it. Where it says, Imma ba ma'utli mikdash. Who says that it's excluding Terumah? Maybe we exclude mikdash and include Terumah. Where it says, Mistav mikdash lam ma'atiyan shekin bekeret kimotah. We don't exclude the mikdash, the mikdash tameh, because it also has karet just like Tumah. Where it says, Adara b'Terumah lam ma'atiyan shekin achila kimotah. One second. Food to Terumah should be the inclusion and exclude Bet Mikdash because it's not food. That's a different common denominator. How can the pasuk say created 3 times by the pesukim al tumah? Ahat tiklal, first of all, for halachot of karet. V'ahat the prat, and also to teach you that there has to be specifically like the shilamim, like hekdesh korbanot, basically. V'ahat the prat. And also another situation of tum'ah that's written in the Torah without identifying what it is exactly. The end of the Mahu, and I don't know what it is. Therefore, we say it must be referring to tum'ah while touching hekdesh food. The Gemara says, now we already know that applies from Zera Sheva. Therefore, we can apply it on something else, which we'll include now. Bet HaMikdash. The Gemara says, 1 second. That third karet that we're saying now is freebie. We need that elsewhere. Why? According to him. The says, 3 times by Ketut, One time, general for Korbanot. The second, specifically like Shlamim. The third one, teach you that Korban stuff that are not eaten, right? So specifically things that are burnt in the B'natash and the Be'ach. And according to the Rishimon who holds that, even things that we don't eat, for example, the wood that gets burnt or something like that, or the ketoret, he says even if the stuff that you don't eat, you don't get karet if you eat it. I mean, understandably so, because it's not like a food. Therefore, even if you tamen eat it, it shouldn't be chayav. He that says that pasuk includes a person who's tamen who's eating the korban hatat inside the Bet HaMikdash. Not the outer mizbeach, but the inner one. Because why? Just like anything else, anything not brought on the outer mizbeach, like a shlamim, in mishum pigul, you're not chayav for pigul. Pigul is a person who does the a person who has the wrong intention while bringing the korban, it messes the korban. So Mishum Tuman Amilah, maybe you should also be patur from Tumas. Mashlan Mahayat, if we bring a proof from here that you are chayav. It says, so we don't have a proof anymore. We said we knew this pasuk was used for the biavad. Gemara says, "Ela the meridim that I mentioned that about shlosh tumot b'shnei lama." How come the word tamed mentioned three times? B'chad ekla, one for general for korbanot. B'chad prat, one for general for specifically b'shalomim. B'chad tamah tuva b'torah stam, one is written in a specification. B'nei demahi u'arzad. Have you met tamah kodesh verse to hektish vod? The minute nam tamah kodesh kodesh the minute nam tamah kodesh since we don't need hektish vod because we don't from Rabbi from Zer Shiva. We use it also for Vedamidash. Versus v'hanami ba'alei. I did ba'alei b'sat Rabbi Bahu. Kedanami tumat. Tabnami tumot dilos segel abelav hachim. We said in a second, it's not proof. We needed the three karets, and if we also needed three tumas. If I needed three karets, therefore we had the three tumas to match it. It's not extra. The Gemara says, "Ati tumatu tumato." Is there a difference there, Sheva? Tibachal chol tumato. It says by the korban or the vered the chol tumato. Tibahatam it says also by a person who entered Bet Mikdash while he's tumat met. Touch the body. Tamei yehod tumatobo. Malan tumat mitash is over there. It's referring to the mitash. I've come to mitash over as well. The Gemara says ela bah mit lamalis. We're going to need the word bah if we don't need it anymore. The Gemara says lerabot nevlat off tahor. To teach you that tumah that you got from eating a kosher bird that was tameh. You're chayav korban there. The Gemara says ha'amart ba lemautehu. 1 second. The word bah you were using as an exclusion. How are you using it as an inclusion now? To teach you something extra. Until now we're saying it excludes stuff. How are we saying now that it teaches something extra? When it says, Mishum itar. Since it's limiting, it adds. What does that mean? Ktiv o ki yiga. It says, or if you will touch it. Devar negiyain, since like only thing that's touchable. Yachayav korban be'oret. Delav bar negiyalo, but something is not touchable. You can't make tachayav. Ktiv ba mi'ota. Therefore, words ba, which is also limitation. Havi mi'ot achar mi'ot, which is a limitation after limitation, right? Two exclusionary terms, basically. And we have a special halacha that if the Torah excludes two things twice, it includes, and therefore you could include a new source like the body of a kosher bird. Okay, yesh ba'yediad b'tchilav en ba'yediad pasof sa'ir ha'ased b'fnim. Next part of Mishnah said that if the person was aware in the beginning, but is not aware at the end, the korban of the Yom Kippur inside of the Bet HaMikdash will stop his punishment. Tanubran. וכיפר על הקודש מטומאות בני ישראל. יש לי בעניין זה להביא 3 טומאות. I would include 3 טומאות in this context. טומאת עבודה זרה, someone does עבודה זרה, וטומאת גילוי עריות, someone does have wrong relations, וטומאת שפיכות דמים, also murder. עבודה זרה, עבודה זרה says טומאה, למען טמא את מקדשי. below good to also regarding relations, it also says טומאה. ושמרתם את שמרתי ולדי לעשות מחלקות הטובות ולא תטמאו בהם. בשביל דמים also murder is considered טמא because it says Velo titame et haaretz yachol also sotumat halalu hu yehesa irin achayin. You might think on these things, the Bet HaMikdash goat on Yom Kippur should be mechaper these tumot as well. Tumot mar mitumot bnei Israel. The law called tumot only bnei Israels and not these specific ones. Okay. What tumot do we see that the Torah has made separate distinctions between the different types of tumot? Havimer tumat midash mekdash refers to the tumah of the Bet Midrash and hekdesh items. I've come tumat midash mekdash said over here as well. We're having different halachot regarding the hekdesh and tumat items and hekdesh items. We see from the pasuk, from the context of the pasuk, what it is mechaper for. Harehu the pasuk says v'chiper al mehakodesh mitumot tumah from the kodesh, which means mitumot shel kodesh. Tumah of walking into Bet HaMikdash Tameh. Echol kol tumah b'shukdash yesa ir mechaper. You might think all types of tumah, the goat will be mechaper in Yom Kippur, even if you knew about it, the beginning and end. So the more the Pasuk says, umipishayim lechol hatotam. Hataim dunyat pishim has to be a sin like being posheya, which is negligent, which means ma pishayim she'enem b'nei korban av hataim she'enem b'nei korban. Just like negligent korbanot are not given a personal korban, like hatat. So too, sins also as well will not be referring to sins that will not be deliberate and not have a personal korban. Therefore, a tumah, if a person walks into Bet HaMikdash Tameh or touches a holy item of Tameh, if he knew before and after, he doesn't get the Bet HaMikdash. The Yom Kippur doesn't help him out because you need a special korban for yourself. The Gemara says, how do we know that if a animal, if the guy knows in the beginning, but doesn't never finds out at the end, that the goat to the Bet HaMikdash stops him from getting punished? When the Gemara says the whole chatotam hayavet hataot mamashma, sounds like a person, only those who's chayav for a personal hatat, which means he had to know in the first place. More. Yesh libinyan tzedei lavi shushat tumot. We said earlier that I would have, in the context of the sukkah, I would have done three tumas. Tumat avodah zarah, tumat gluir, tumat, which I mean, right? Murder, avodah zarah, and relations, illegal relations. Hi avodah zarah. What's the case of avodah zarah? Even if the guy did avodah zarah on purpose, he's supposed to die. Even if he did it by mistake, you got to bring a korban. The mezid lo atbei. No, case we did it by mistake, on purpose rather, but they didn't warn him in time, therefore he can't be chayav mitab. Bishogeg v'lo, he did it by mistake, but he didn't know it was that sort. The Gemara says, okay, fine, next. What's the case of illegal relations? Even if he did it on purpose, he gets killed. Even if he made a mistake, he brings the korban. He on purpose, but no warning. Or Bishogeg by mistake, and he didn't know about it. The Gemara says, okay, it's a murder. Even if he did it on purpose, he dies. Even if he made a mistake, he goes to galut. The Gemara says, same answer. Either he did it on purpose and they didn't warn him, therefore he can't get killed. Bishogeg or he did it on mistake, but he didn't know. Or it's some other case where it's ineligible for galut, throwback to makot, whether it was an enemy or a person who was such a crazy accident that he's not even chayav galut. Okay, we'll stop here.